Welcome back to the channel. In this video I will show you how to add Google Analytics to your Next.js application. We will first need to initialize Google Analytics, then we need to add some event handlers to send data to Google Analytics when user navigates between pages on your website. Then we will also see how to send custom events to Google Analytics, such as when user adds an item to a shopping cart. We don't need to write all of the code ourselves because we can make use of this with Google Analytics example in the Next.js repo, which has some boilerplate code that we can use in our app. First thing we want to do is add a helper file called gtag.js and place it inside of a lib folder. Like this. And then we will copy the contents of the gtag file inside the example repo to our gtag.js file. As we can see here, we are first initializing a tracking ID. Then we have this pageview function that basically sends data to the Google Analytics. And then we have this event function that sends a custom event to the Google Analytics. So the next thing we need to do is add our own tracking ID here. If you don't have a Google Analytics account yet, go to analytics.google.com. From there, go setup for free, enter an account name, then click next. Now add a property. This is basically your website name. Click next. And you can choose the options that fit you and click create. Then you'll need to read the terms and accept them. Now you should see this view. If you don't, go and find the data streams tab from your settings and click web. And here you can enter your website address and create stream. Now copy this measurement ID you are seeing there and switch back to the Visual Studio Code and paste it here. Now save the file, and next we want to switch back to the example repository and go to the pages folder, and from there open up the document.js and copy everything from there. Switch back to the Visual Studio Code, and as we can see, we don't have the document.js yet or underscore document.js, so let's create one. And paste in the code. If you're not familiar with underscore document.js, this is basically a file that gets loaded for all of your pages. So this is where we want to set up or initialize the Google Analytics. And now if we look at the code a little bit closer, we can see that we are importing the tracking ID from the file we just created. Then here we place a script tag to the Google Tag Manager with our tracking ID, and then insert some JavaScript that initializes the Google Analytics. And all this is placed inside of the head of the document. Now save the file, and let's go back to the repo, and now open up the app.js or underscore app.js, and from here again copy everything and switch back to the Visual Studio Code and open up the underscore app.js, and we can remove all this and paste in the code. Now let's take a closer look what we have here. So first we import everything inside that gtag file we created. Then in the app component we are using the use effect hook, and inside of that we define some event handlers that trigger whenever the route changes. So whenever user navigates between pages. And this will basically make sure that Google Analytics is getting the data every time user does something on your website. So now we can save this and we should be good to go. So let's launch our app. Oh, I think it was yarn dev and not start. My bad. Okay, this server is running. So let's try to open it. Great. Now we have the site running, and if we go back to the analytics, I'll close this and go home and press real time. And we don't yet see anything, so let's go back and refresh the page. And there we go, we got some data to Google Analytics. So here we can see that the first event, page view and session start events were triggered, and the page with title create next app was open, so the front page. Now let's look at how we can send custom events to Google Analytics. So let's flip back to VS Code, and here I'm just gonna open up the index.js and add a simple button to the page like this, and then I'll define an event handler for it, and inside here we will send an add to cart event to Google Analytics. In order to do that, we need to import the gtag file we previously created like this, and here we will call the event function, and if we see the gtag file, we can see that the event function takes an object as a parameter which has action, category, label and value properties. So I'm gonna copy those and switch back to the index and paste all of that inside here and do a little formatting. And then I'll input the values for these variables. So for the action, I'm gonna input add to cart. For the category, I'll use e-commerce. For the label, I'll add item added, and for the value, I'll just add playing cards. And now we'll save this, and once I switch back to the browser and open up our app, I can see that I have add the cart button here, and now once I press it and switch back to the analytics, we should see an event appearing here for the add to cart. And there we go, we can see that we got the add to cart event we just sent. So that's all for now. I hope you found this video useful and helpful, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.